Hey guys, my name's Dan Janoff. I'm the creator of Intelligent Wrestling Talk on Facebook, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of How Dan Would Book. It's where I take the upcoming pay-per-view and show you how I would book it. It may not be the way it all goes down, but it's what I feel would be best going forward. For this one, I'm booking the Smackdown exclusive pay-per-view, tables, ladders, and chairs. The first match of the night is going to be for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships, with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton taking on Heath Slater and Rhino. Now, Heath and Rhino have had a pretty good run and have held on to the title for a lot longer than I, or quite frankly anyone else, really expected them to. With that being said, the Wyatt family has been a nice streak of momentum lately, and that needs to continue with the title win. They can win it the same way they earned the title shot with Luke Harper getting involved, so that way Heath and Rhino can still lose and stay strong, while the heels can act like heels. I would have Heath and Rhino get their rematch on SmackDown with the same results, then a team like American Alpha can go after the titles at the next pay-per-view. Next match is going to be a chairs match with Kalisto taking on Baron Corbin. The booking of Baron has been strange since his call-up. He was a monster heel while in NXT, and in his debut won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and has been on a decline since. He needs to return back to form, and he needs to dominate this match. They played up what one chair shot can do to Kalisto, and this is something they should continue to do and have this feud end here. Kalisto is the type of guy who can rebound from this loss, plus Baron needs to move up the ladder and start having a streak of wins so he can regain his monster heel persona. Plus, I really enjoy his finisher. It looks absolutely devastating. Probably one of the more devastating on the roster and should be showcased, especially with the finish of this match. Have him perform it on Kalisto onto a chair, now that would have a great reaction from the crowd. Moving on to the no disqualification match, we have Nikki Bella taking on Carmella. This is where we have the reveal of who attacked Nikki from behind at Survivor Series. It's easy to say it's Natalya since she was the one to replace her on the team, but I don't think it would be dragged out this long if it was. If it was Carmella, she herself said that she would be bragging about it to her face, and she hasn't. The part where they will reveal who it is a bit tricky, because I don't believe it should be anyone on the main roster or in NXT. There's no one else who holds a grudge against her, and since there's only 3 females who are currently active on the SmackDown roster, you have Carmella, who is feuding with her, Alexa, who has nothing to gain with feuding with her because she's already wrestling for the title, and Natalya, and I've already talked about Natalya. The question is, who was it? And there's only one answer for that. Eva Marie. It would be perfect. Consider their relationship on Total Divas. Though she is considered inactive, she doesn't have to be there. You just have her music playing, distracting Nikki long enough for Carmella to get the upper hand and getting the win. Now listen, I don't like it, but it makes the most sense out of who they have. Eva, when she returns, she can talk about her jealousy for Nikki and how she'll take her success and make a name off of her. Now it's time for the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship with Dolph Ziggler taking on The Miz. Thankfully, this is the last time I will book a match between these two for the title, and like all the other times, I will have The Miz retain. And this time, do it cleanly. Have Maurice trying to get involved, he gets caught and banned from ringside, and that's where fans will believe that Dolph will win with what happened last time, but The Miz ends up pulling it off. Dolph can take a much needed break, while The Miz can go and feud with a bunch of different up-and-comers like Apollo Crews or Kalisto. It doesn't make sense to have the title flip-flop just because of the heel versus face dynamic from the Survivor Series, so The Miz will stay the Intercontinental Champion. Now it's time for the tables match for the SmackDown Women's Championship with Alexa Bliss taking on Becky Lynch. This feud has been so well done, and Alexa has been getting better and better since her call-up. And the result of their last match was sketchy and a bit odd to say the least, which would normally indicate an opposite result in their follow-up match. But I wouldn't have Becky dropping the title, and I do believe this feud can continue since it is a gimmick match, with Carmella being done with Nikki, and since Nikki will be focusing on Eva, I would have Carmella be inserted into this feud, and they can have a triple threat at the next pay-per-view. Lastly, it's time for the main event, a tables, ladders, and chairs match for the World Championship with Dean Ambrose taking on AJ Styles. And this will be guaranteed to steal the show. There There'll be tons of 5 spots, great moments, but AJ will ultimately retain. James Ellsworth will get involved and try to get revenge on AJ for what he did to him, but he will accidentally cost Dean the match. He would come in with a chair, and as they're both attempting to climb the ladder, AJ ducks, Dean ends up getting hit instead, AJ grabs the chair from Ellsworth and finishes off Dean. Now this is where we would see the start of Dean's slow heel turn. Ellsworth did cost him the match before, and he warned him not to do it again. And what better way to have him turn heel than by eventually beating up a guy like Ellsworth? AJ will go on to feud with the returning Undertaker because, quite frankly, who doesn't want to see that? Anyway, that's how I would book it. If you agree, give me a like. If not, how would you do it differently? Share and subscribe for more videos in the future. I do have plans for making top 10 lists as voted on within our Facebook group. Speaking of that, if you aren't a part of Intelligent Wrestling Talk and consider yourself an Intelligent Wrestling fan, head on over and join us. We have threads for every week for Raw and Smackdown, and of course each pay-per-view. We also have monthly polls to crown our cover star, along with those top 10s I told you about. The link will be in the description below. With that being said, I'd like for you all to remember that there's only one way to talk wrestling, and that's intelligently.